Hey everybody, so I've just had like infinite requests to do Kidz Bop Karen, so I decided to do a little digging and I'm going to give you the whole scoop on what happened to this lady afterward. It turns out they both actually sat down with different news agencies for interviews and whatnot, so we're going to dive into that a little bit. I really appreciate all of the wonderful outpouring of support this channel has gotten over the last couple of months. The growth has been completely outside of anything that I could have possibly expected. So thank you for that. Just thought that was worth mentioning. Okay. So in 2018 and 2019, we saw the emergence of the first slew of classic Karens, so to speak, that started to popularize the moniker in meme culture, and with it, we'd come to associate the title with a manager calling customer dead set on getting the minimum wage worker they were verbally abusing fired, or an HOA director who cared way too much about the length of your hedges, or a random pedestrian who allowed their personal animus toward one group or another to override their rationale, doing things like, I don't know, for instance, calling the police on a civil family barbecuing in the park, or telling an apartment complex resident that they have to prove that they live in their own building. But in this example, perhaps the first mainstream example of its kind at the time of its release, the woman labeled a Karen was caught on camera acting snarky, obnoxious, and just a bit entitled in the aftermath of what was actually a pretty minor, and that's, keep in mind, by my standards, road rage incident between her, the man driving the car, and the woman that recorded this video, OP. In the clip, we see the aftermath of a mother, our story's Karen, storming up to the window of a rideshare driver who had apparently just cut her off in busy New York City traffic. Frankly, and this is really the only place I give her any credit, but I think it's reasonable and fair, she was driving her own kids around in a stressful, busy city, and trust me, I've been to New York City a few times. It is maybe the most stressful place you could ever try to drive in the entire United States. So yeah, stressful, busy city, and got cut off in the middle of traffic, and that wouldn't have made any protective mother happy. But the man behind the wheel was the rideshare driver, and the woman in the back seat was his client. Interestingly enough, in the video, Karen remarks that the driving doesn't bother her as much as the rideshare client and backseat passenger who recorded the video, a woman named Chelsea Klein, who told her to calm down before the video began. So she was more upset about the calm down comment than about getting cut off. I don't know if I really believe that. Obviously, the quickest way to make someone angry, or someone who's already angry, furious, is to tell them to calm down. Anyway, that's the setup to this hilarious, albeit short, clip that became a national meme treasure to millions. Some even say it was the only thing that got them through the pandemic.
You too.
I'm sorry, really sorry.
You are?
No, it's my fault.
It is your fault.
Yeah, I know it's my fault. That's why I'm saying sorry. Eh?
She thinks it's cute that her driver almost hit my kids, and she thinks she needs to take a video of it. Instead of apologizing like a saint.
So stopping in the middle of the road is gonna help?
You being a bitch is gonna help?
I didn't say anything.
I don't know, calm down. Calm down.
It's okay, I'm sorry.
He apologized.
It's my fault.
He apologized.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what? That didn't upset me. But the bitch ass hoe
Sorry,
that told me
bitches.
to calm down. What I'd like you to do is apologize instead of being a bitch.
You're calling me sorry, but you're calling me a bitch. So set an example.
I'm sorry. My kids can't hear me calling you a bitch.
Your window's open.
They can't hear me because they're listening to Kidz Bop. Attitude?
It's
Sucks.
okay.
So obviously this clip got millions and millions and millions and millions of views all over the internet. It was a sensation, one of the top memes of the year, I'd say. Countless TikToks were created making fun of her behavior, her demeanor, like this one, which is my personal favorite.
Calm down.
It's okay, I'm sorry.
He apologized.
It's my fault.
He apologized.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what? That didn't upset me. But the bitch ass hoe
Sorry.
that told me to calm down.
Okay, all right. Thank you for indulging me. Let's get to the meat. So, within a couple of days after this incident went viral, insanely viral, millions and millions and millions and squadrillions of views, the woman who recorded this video, the passenger in the backseat of the rideshare that recorded this whole thing, if you'll remember, her name is Chelsea Klein. She gave an interview to a local news station called Pix 11 News, and I've got that for you right here.
Meet the woman the internet is calling Kidz Bop Karen after her profanity-laced rant went viral.
I tried to tell her that she's not setting an example. Both of our windows were open. There was a kid in the back who visibly looked upset. I guess my driver must have cut her off. I looked at the window, she's giving the finger, so I, like I usually do when I'm driving, just gave a thumbs up.
It happened on Friday during rush hour as Klein was on her way home to New Jersey.
I said, calm down. The reason I filmed is because I was actually scared she was going to do something, because she looked very hostile and had a scary look in her eyes.
Yeah, I'd say after watching her do that thing with her eyes like 30 times on repeat, yeah, I'd be a little nervous she was going to do something weird too.
Klein says after the video went viral, she got an unusual comment on her personal Instagram account.
She looks 30 pounds lighter in her Insta feed. Also, her complexion is better. She should have these filters in real life.
Okay, so we learn a couple very interesting new pieces of information here, vital to the story, I would say. First and foremost, we find out that Klein actually wasn't the one who initiated the exchange between the two. She gave a thumbs up in response to getting flipped off by Kidz Bop Karen, and that's, of course, when she told her to calm down as well. So no surefire way like that to get somebody's blood pressure through the roof. Tell them to calm down and give them a sarcastic thumbs up. Second, and more importantly, we find out that this woman was using some kind of sock puppet Instagram account to leave her snarky, nasty messages about how her filters were too deceiving and she was 30 pounds heavier than she looked, and all this just very like I guess exactly what you'd expect out of somebody who would act like this to a stranger. And she did another interview shortly thereafter, this time Fox, and she essentially told them she hadn't yet processed what was happening. She was filming because she was at, like she said in the first interview, right? This person was acting crazy. I didn't know what they were going to do. But the juicy thing that she told them was that she got an email from this woman, apparently a couple days after it happens. She said that it was congratulating her on her 15-minute, like basically just the same kind of snarky stuff. Actually, I have the email right here, so I'm going to read it for you. It says, "Chelsea, you have personally put your full name on everything possible. Using my likeness, a video of me, and at my personal expense, you have sought to promote yourself in every possible way. I wish you nothing but success in this. You have done so with your full name, including to NBC News, while not telling the full story of what happened. Again, I don't blame you. New York state law permits that any money you make promoting my likeness is due to me, so I'll take your Venmo or any other jobs, offers, deals, or money you receive for anything." Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but basically everything that she has posted with Instagram or this email seems pretty much exactly in line with what I would have expected from Kidz Bop Karen after seeing her personality on full display in that video. Luckily for us, Kidz Bop Karen must have decided she wanted in on some of the attention, because only a few days after these interviews aired with Klein, Kidz Bop Karen decided to give her own interview to TMZ. Now, keep in mind, Kidz Bop Karen did not give her actual name. She requested anonymity as a prerequisite to giving the interview, so we don't actually know this lady's literal name, though I actually think Kidz Bop Karen would be a more appropriate full name for her than whatever silly name her parents gave her. So KBK told TMZ that she's apparently catching tons of flack on the internet, obviously, but directed at her by people who found her. That she's catching a bunch of flack on the internet, and that some people were saying that she was displaying a clear case of white privilege. And she did something interesting here, right? Because I don't believe for one second that this woman had a shred of actual self-reflection during any of this, but I think she saw a way to take some of the politically themed flack that she was getting and amplify that as much as possible so that she could still seem like she was part of the political team that was actually giving her the most grief, right? And evidence of this being, one, she addressed the white privilege thing and brought it up on her own and then said, yeah, my behavior does reek of white privilege, and things could have ended really differently if I were a minority. And then after that, she says that the worst thing that she had been called on the internet, the thing that upset her the most, was that someone called her a Republican. And that apparently upset her more than the people who were saying she was a horrible parent and she shouldn't have her kids. Now, all that stuff was peanuts compared to saying that she was a Republican. So what I think is really going on here, to kind of tie this all together, is that I think that she realized that the bulk of the flack she was receiving was from people who maybe leaned left and were, calling her a Republican, and she wanted to, in order to kind of save some face from this, appeal to those people by showing that she was in solidarity with whatever viewpoint she thought that they had. So that's what I think is really going on here. I don't think that there is any level of contrition or self-reflection actually happening here. I think she is cynically playing a game here to try and get back some street cred here. So the last thing that she said in this interview, she said that she wants to apologize to the driver. She's got no lingering beef with the woman who filmed her rant from the back seat. And she also finally answered an extremely important question we've all been wondering. What was the Kidz Bop song that her kids were listening to? And as it turns out, that song, ready? Old Town Road. So that's essentially the whole story of Kidz Bop Karen. We never found out who she was, but I think all of the interviews and the back and forths and the things that she said to this woman on the internet under what she thought was the guise of anonymity, as though Klein wasn't going to figure it out. Come on. That stuff all really shows exactly who she is as a person. And then tell me if you disagree, because I could be totally off the money here, but I think that she was cynically faking solidarity with left-leaning viewpoints that she thought made up the bulk of the people who were criticizing her, and she thought she could get out of this whole thing by leaning into that. I hope that it didn't work. I hope that nobody is that easily tricked, because I certainly am not. Anyway, all right, that's all I got for you today. I will have another video tomorrow, which is going to be even better than this one. So, yeah. See ya.